Greetings, welcome to another Fake Rent Order video. Today we are going to be talking about servant bond levels, bond ranks, bond whatever it's called, how you raise it up, and lastly, is it worth leveling up? Now first, what is a servant bond level? Well, if we had an over 2 formation and had an over 2 spirit or journey list, and you click on any of your servants, you will see right there their bond level. Now, as you're playing the game as a casual player, you really have no idea what that does. All you know is that from bonds 1 through 5, several different conversations are unlocked with your servant. And if you stick with a specific servant, you'll start seeing that once they reach bonds 6 through 10, you eventually start getting some interesting things like, say, 1, 2, or 3 saying quartz, golden and silver apples. And if you have ever managed to get a servant to bond rank 10, then you were treated with a little very special craft ends for that servant. Unfortunately, the game itself does not tell you what you get for leveling a servant's bond to level 10. As you can see, he's already at level 10, but he has nowhere on his page any mention of what it is that I got from him, as you can see. So how do you know what you're going to get from him? Well, unfortunately, the only way to know this is to go onto a wiki or a website that tells you exactly what you get from every servant, and basically decide who you're going to level. However, before we actually get into the craft sentences themselves, we need to know how do we re-raise the bond level faster? Because if you saw what they were saying there, my Mordred still requires over 1,000,000 points of bond level to reach level 10. Yeah, that is a lot of points, especially if you've ever stopped to read the bond level experience page at the end of a mission. You know that it varies between 50 and 650-ish. Up to 950 for difficult story missions of bond levels. So let's say an average of a daily mission would be around 400-ish. So yeah, try 400 at a time to get over 1.5 million points. It takes a long time. So how do we accelerate this little problem we have here? Well, let's go to party setup and show you what I do. Now, I run 2 very specific craft instances for this. Now, as you can see, this one is the one we got at the beginning of the game over a year ago, and I believe it will currently be available now at the shop for rare prisms, for mana prism, I think. But as you can see, increases bond gain when completing quests by 50. Yeah, it's kind of pathetic, isn't it? However, when you consider the fact that most missions will give you around 450 bond level, that is over 10% extra that you're getting. And since you just put it on one of your support servants that doesn't really need to do damage like I do on my Helena, then okay, just leave it there, put it, forget it, and try to take it as often as possible, and slowly but surely you start racking up the points. Then we also have this one that I bought from the store, Personal Lesson. Actually, no, that's for a Mystic Code. Ooh, no. Then it's this one here. Come here, you. No, I actually don't have that one. Oh, right. The last one is actually currently in the store. If we go to shop here, and we go to exchange mana prisms, you will see it right there. Shush. Quiet. Anyway, as you can see, Chaldea Lunchtime right there. That one does the exact same thing that the one I have for Mystic Code Experience does, in that each copy will increase your bond gained by 2%. And when you fuse them all together, it stacks up to 10%, which is what you want to do. Unfortunately, as you can see, it costs 1,000 mana prisms each. And honestly, in my personal opinion, unless you're going to buy all 5 in one go, getting 2% extra, it really isn't worth sacrificing the bonuses that you get to get the other things, which is what I did with the one I have. So if you say have both of them, that's an average of an extra 100 bond points for every fight. So that is currently the only 2 ways that I know to raise bond level faster. Now, there are missions out there that give more or less bond points, depending. You can usually ask on the Reddit or in some other website which one gives the most bond points per clear, and you can usually get your answer there. Now, with all that said and done, how about we actually go and look at my top 6 servant craft instances of servants that you most likely can get, that are hopefully not time limited, that are definitely worth considering bringing onto your team, shall we? So, at number 6, the one I chose was the one for Orash. Yes, that little 1-star servant that kills himself by launching a very powerful noble phantasm. As you can see, when he dies, remove debuffs and restore HP of all allies by 5,000 when defeated. So yeah, whenever he launches a noble phantasm and kills himself, he will heal the rest of the party for 5,000. That's kind of okay. And when you consider that he does have a skill that raises his MP by, well, his MP charge by 30%, it shouldn't be that hard to raise it. So once he launches No Phantasm at the final wave, he can actually heal everybody up, especially when you recall the very dangerous Knights in Camelot that could deal a lot of damage. Yeah, that's definitely a good scenario. Now the other good one is for, say, when you're fighting off against a boss with a very powerful No Phantasm that cannot be avoided, like, say, the final boss in Camelot. Let's say you shove a Rash in there. He is obviously going to die because he not only is he weak against Lancers, but he's a one-star servant. He's got very little HP. But you are confident enough that your other servants will survive the damage, so you get him killed, and all the damage that she did with her Noble Phantasm gets undone by this. So a little niche, but I definitely liked it because it synergizes very well with the servant himself. Now, whether you can launch a No Phantasm by himself without any bonuses is a different story, but on to rank number 5 here. For my 5th pick, I picked this one, the Hound of Kulan. This is the one for Kuchu Lane prototype. Now, I'm not sure if you know this, but I believe Kuchu Lane is the only servant currently in the game that deals bonus damage to wild beasts. This is especially useful when you are fighting against a very big chimera or other similar effects. But as you can see, when you put it on him and he is on the field, increases all allies will inflict 20% damage against wild beasts. So that means all your stronger servants now deal 20% extra damage to beasts. That is definitely not bad. And when you consider the fact that Kuchu Lane right now is about to get a little interlude that will increase his anti-beast skill to make it even stronger, then this is definitely one you might want to consider when you're facing off against beasts. I do remember putting him on my team where we were in the ultra high difficulty quest, I think. We were fighting against a beast of some sort, and I brought him along, and he definitely dealt the damage that he needed to do. So this is definitely a good one you might want to consider going for, especially to be prepared for the far future. In 4th place, I chose this one, Concealed Goddess. This is the one for Helena Blavatsky, a 4-star caster that I really like as a support. Now, as you can see, increases party attack damage against assassins by 20%. And I believe that one is actually not saying while she is on the field. Interesting. I believe she needs to be on the field and equipped with it. So anyway, imagine being able to do an extra 10% damage to assassins, and she's a caster, so she deals double damage to assassins, and she's a good support, and that she gives you up to 20% MP charge, increases all 3 card effectiveness, and she has an MP that can reduce defense, deal damage, and all that. So if you're facing off against a bunch of assassins, imagine if you had this, and you gave it to... and you had it equipped onto Helena when you were using Medea to clear the ultra high difficulty quest filled with assassins. Yeah, that would have been a lot easier, wouldn't it? So yeah, this is definitely one you might want to consider going for. Now, I do know that in the far future, once we actually defeat Solomon and we go into the second main arc of the story, we are going to, I believe, going to go to some place in the past, I believe feudal Japan, and there are going to be a lot of ninjas in that story, I think. And I believe most of them are assassins, so yeah, this is one you might want to consider going for the far future. But still, it's only the 4th one, so we got 3 more to go. In 3rd place, I went with Medusa's Shapeless Island. As you can see, when equipped on Medusa, increases party's MP game performance by 50% while she's on the field. Huh. So if we compare this one to Helena, so Helena doesn't say she needs to be on the field. Interesting. I wouldn't say it's completely confirmed, but I'll check it out later. So imagine this. This is basically Nobunaga's MP game buff at max rank permanently on all your servants. That is definitely a good thing, especially when you consider that effects like this are hard to come by. Now, getting an extra 50% MP charge doesn't sound that amazing. However, consider if you were to, say, put her along with this on a arts-based team, like, say, a bunch of casters or arts version of archers, yeah, then you start getting into some very good stuff there. She may not be the strongest servant in the game, but this definitely makes her a strong contender for being a support role that can deal a little bit of AoE damage and can sometimes stun somebody. And yeah, not a bad craft engine for a 3-star servant. In number 2, I chose this unit Golden Bear for Sakata Kintoki Rider version. Now, as you can see, increases party's critical star generation by 20% while he is on the field. Now, critical star generation is usually not something that you focus on when building a team. However, consider this. He has a triple arts deck with triple quick deck with a quick noble phantasm. Put him together with Jack the Ripper, who has the exact same thing, and I believe a Scathach Assassin has the exact same thing. And now you're talking some extreme critical star generation by everybody, and the damage suddenly went up by a ton because all dealing critical damage. And yeah, that is why it is a number 2. It's a number 2 or not a number 1, because a number 1 is one that I would absolutely say you must get for the Servant that we are about to talk about. And here it is, the Castle of Snow. This is Heracles' final bond level 10 craft essence. As you can see, when you give it to him, revive with 500 HP when defeated 3 times. So that is 3 stacks of guts at the beginning of the fight, and then if you recall, he has a 1-turn dodge, he has his own ability that gives him guts. So yeah, this makes it so that he has to essentially be killed 5 times in a row. Very nice. And not only that, but because Heracles is one of the best berserkers in the game, if he is your last servant, and you give him this, he is dealing damage and not going down at all. He is putting up the fight. So yeah, that is why it's all the way over here. Now, I did stay away from as many limited servants as I could, because I decided to focus on servants you might actually have instead of servants you wish you had. But anyway, yeah, these are the 6 craft sentences that I would say are worth getting. Not all of them, but if you are working with a certain team, then these are definitely a strong contender. Now, obviously, if you have your favorite servant, then go for that one, obviously, because these are going to take a very, very long time to get. I believe I just got Heracles' this one. I believe I got it 3 weeks ago, and I've been playing since day 1 with Heracles on my team. So yeah, it takes a very long time to get these, especially if you focus on actually leveling servants instead of farming bond points. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for watching, and we will see you next week for 2018 Halloween event missions, because those, well, from what I've read, are not going to be particularly difficult, but they should be fun with the creation of teams. So, later.